Good morning, everybody. Wakey, wakey. It's time for Morning Glory. My name is MC Kalia, and I'll be your captain for the next 1 hour, 30 minutes. Let's have this conversation going.
Topil Hospital, a brain and spine specialty hospital dedicated to providing extraordinary care through competent doctors and other medical personnel from premium institutes with knowledge on the latest and exceptional medical technologies. With a capacity of over 70 operational ward beds, over 30 specialists and consulting doctors, Topil Hospital is a modern level 5 facility equipped with 12 state-of-the-art ICU HDU beds and 2 modern HEPA-filtered theaters with laminar airflow. Our aim is to provide comprehensive quality services at an affordable cost to the community, which includes but not limited to neurosurgery, radiology and diagnostics, MRI, CT scan, X-ray, ultrasound, endoscopy, ECG, EEG, pediatric cardiology, physiotherapy, orthopedics and trauma, pharmacy, laboratory, theater, ICU and HDU, obstetrics and gynecology, general surgery, maternity, psychology, psychiatry, comprehensive wellness checkup, dialysis and urology, oncology, dental care, ENT surgery, nutrition and dietetics. For ease of movement and transfer of patients, the hospital has 2 modern critical care ambulances equipped with ICU facilities and available 24 hours. Topil Hospital is located in a serene environment away from noise and has a cafeteria with fresh, nutritious foods, not forgetting ample parking for all clients. Topil Hospital is NHIF accredited and accepts medical covers from a number of insurance companies. If you're looking for the best customer care and patient experience and to be attended within the minimum waiting time possible, reach us through the website www.topilhospital.com or call 0782 121214, or you can also call 0782 900090. You can also email us through info@topilhospital.com. Topil Hospital, exceptional technology, extraordinary care.
The 5th day of April 2023. My name is MC Kalia and this is the Morning Glory Show. Of course, it is the most comprehensive talk show in Kenya today. Welcome to the Healthy, Wealthy, Wise Wednesday. Now, before I tell you about my guest, allow me to remind you that we are coming live from Dawi Afrique Photography. Dawi Afrique Photography is the best photo studio stroke video studio in Eldoret. I should have said it is the best photo and video production studio within the region. So if you need anything that goes into photo or video production, consider working with Dawi Afrique Photography. On top of that, I just want to assure you that you'll be getting some nice experience in front of the camera and also nice memories at the end of the rope. Secondly is if you'd have any interest in fashion, if you're interested in fashion and you'd want to learn to dress people, you'd want to learn to do some tailoring, you'd want to learn to dress people to be addressed, then the right place to study from is D-Square School of Fashion Design and Tailoring. D-Square School of Fashion Design and Tailoring is a branch of D-Square Fashion House. Both of them are situated at the 4th floor of Ketia's building in Eldoret CBD. Why would you want to study from D-Square School of Fashion Design and not any other school? D-Square School of Fashion Design and Tailoring gives you an opportunity to learn from the best, because immediately you exit class, then you have the ability to walk into the fashion house and also learn from experienced fashion designers inside the fashion house. On top of that, their tuition fee is quite affordable. Now, back to matters health, and of course, with me today is a team from Top Hill Hospital. Of course, we've seen all the other clinical departments, and today we have nurses from Top Hill Hospital. One of them is Etiang, and the other one is Gideon. So I'll give a chance to Etiang to introduce herself. Of course, say hi to our viewers.
Hello, everyone. My name is Etiang Mary. I'm a nurse at Top Hill Hospital for brain and spine. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Etiang, and welcome to this particular show. Thanks for making time to be with us. We have a lot to unpack. Thank you so much. Karibu sana, Gideon. Say hi to our viewers.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Gideon Kibiot from Top Hill Hospital, a registered nurse. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Gideon. And of course, I think my first question would go to Gideon. And this question I'm not asking on my own behalf. I'm asking on behalf of somebody else. But then before I come to that particular question, ladies and gentlemen, of course, if you're already tuned in, let me know where you're tuned in from. Make sure unaniambia where you tuned in from. Let's say good morning, tusalamiane, tag in your friends. Iwapo ungependa waweze kupata tusema mafunzo ya afya, let them get something. Let's improve our health education. Make sure that you tag in your friends. Tag in your friends. Tag in your friends. And this first question, as I said, is not my question. It's a question that somebody told me. Please make sure you ask it for me. And so before I go to my script, we'll start with this question of she is Sister Etiang, because that is what we call them. Would we call you Brother Gideon? Of course, I made sure that would be my first question.
Thank you, Mr. Kalia. Okay, that's actually looks like a difficult question to answer because most of the time, even when I'm in the corridors, even a patient can call you Sister Gideon. Then I just see him or her and say, it is okay. I'm a nurse, and everybody who is a nurse is being called a sister.
So you're okay with us saying sister?
Actually, it is not. Actually, it is not comfortable. It is not comfortable being called a sister. You know, you are
a man.
A man. Yeah.
So what would be your preferred name then? Aaron?
Registered or a nurse.
Or a nurse.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ama kwa Kiswahili muuguzi.
Muuguzi. I think hiyo neno nilisikia mara mwisho niki-exit. It should have been Form 4 kwa set book. It's rarely used in the normal world. You know, there are those things that we learned in school, but then ukikuja outside world, they're never used. Like, okay, kuna words zingine kama minajili. Those are words that we only used in school and we'll never use them again here. Anyway, Etiang, now that Gideon has actually said that he would prefer to be called something else and not Sister Gideon, then maybe give us, how did it come for sisters and nurses to be called Sister so-and-so? Is it something that, because sister wenye mimi najua ni wale wa Catholic, so maybe take us through this. How did it reach a point where nurses were referred to as sisters?
Okay, majorly, you look at nursing, initially it was a feminine thing. Because the mother of nursing, Florence Nightingale, worked hand in hand with other female co-workers. So the male joined in nursing later on. But initially it was a feminine thing. So that is why you find like, okay, a sister is a female. And that is why nurses were being called sister and we are still being called sister. But now for the male nurses, okay, lately people have as in interacted with social media and so many other platforms to a point that currently they are referred as maybe nurse so and so. We are called nurse so and so, so like nurse Mary, nurse Gideon. It brings that balance. Yeah.
So
Rather
yes,
than
at least
being called
sister.
For them, okay, I could imagine maybe the males would be called that is brother, because a female nurse is sister. But okay, being called nurse so and so creates that balance.
At least it creates a
Yeah.
balance. I
Yeah.
remember Madam Lay teacher, she was our teacher of English, saying that you use gender sensitive language. Then I was like, now, how would sister? Then I would want to say brother. But then nonetheless, I would say maybe nurse so and so is a balance quite enough. Of course, we have some feedback coming in. Today we'll be talking to Etiang and Gideon about what they do at Top Hill Hospital. Remember that Top Hill Hospital, I love their mantra. It is exceptional technology and extraordinary care. And yesterday I was checking, because at some point actually people really may not understand even the responsibilities or what exactly do nurses do in a hospital. Of course, there is still that confusion between who is a doctor and who is a nurse and all that. So I was checking, hata mimi mwenyewe nilijikuta nikicheck at actually what is the work of a nurse, and I realized it was care. Then I realized that at Top Hill Hospital, then you carry, in fact, half of the mantra. That is the bit of extraordinary care.
Yeah.
Is it so? And how heavy is that burden? Because now I realize that of course, we've had all the other clinical departments come here, but then now I'm realizing that you actually carry half the motto of Top Hill Hospital, which is the extraordinary care. How is it for you, Etiang?
Okay, actually, offering extraordinary care is a nurse's role. Okay, our running call is exceptional technology and extraordinary care. So the extraordinary care falls under nursing. Okay, majorly we do we offer our services as a nursing team. That is by doing the basic assessments on the patients, because the first thing, the first person the patient interacts with within the facility, that is after the reception, after they have done the registration part, is a nurse.
Is a nurse.
So a nurse does the assessment, then you involve the doctors where it is necessary, then you take the orders from the doctors, you do the basic investigations. After that, you take over. You administer the medications, you take the patients for the investigations like maybe MRIs, CT scans. After that, maybe the patient is due for surgery or something. Okay, you prepare the patient for surgery. Yani, you're with the patient.
You're the patient the longest time.
The longest time. That is in 24 hours of a day, 7 days of a week, the nurse is always there.
The nurse is
and
always
that is why we do the handing over. I hand over to Gideon. Gideon comes in for the night shift, for example. Then, okay, I take over tomorrow morning. As I take over, the continuity of nursing care just progresses as it happens with other facilities. So nursing generally focuses on caring for the patients. That is okay holistically. Yeah.
And of course, that is exactly what we'll be talking about. We want to really understand the space of nursing in a medical facility, what you need to know, so that next time you walk into a hospital, you really understand what is happening. Because some of these things, this show is particularly to edify us. And at some point, I realized that some of these things we assume that they are very obvious, yet they are not as obvious as they look. We have quite some feedback coming in. Alfred Sargent, all the way from Australia, says, nice one. Kim Slavin says, good morning. Okay, it's a very long good morning. Okay, thank you so much for always making time to be with us. Faith Cherop says, tuned in live from Kapsabet. Mildred Sum, thank you so much. Tuned in as usual, thank you so much. I can see Liz Rokesio. Karibu sana Liz. And actually, Kim Slavin tells us she's in Migori County. Migori County, kuna kuwa na gold ama inakuanga nini atlete. And then there's also some rice from Migori actually. Yeah. Tutaongea vizuri after show. Nione inbox. There is Carlton Kipkruisang says good morning. Florence Florence Chepkrui says good morning, tuned in from Geria. Happy to see my team there. Good job, our chief nurse and Gidi. Okay, there is Angote Junior says tuned in from Mombasa. Thank you so much for making time to be with us. Can see Faith Cherop says thank you. We are very much inside. Thank you so much. We have Ipale Etiang. That should be Etiang's relative, if I'm not wrong, says tuned in from Nairobi. Good morning. My special regards to Mary Atiang. I knew it. Atiang is quite a rare name, just like Kalia. Now, Gideon, now that you've said people meet you in the streets in the corridors of hospital and want to call you Sister Gideon, and we've clearly said, call him Nurse Gideon. Check him and say. So, Gideon, how is it being a man and being a nurse? Because, okay, originally it is clear that this was a nurse's role. And of course, I would still come back to Atiang to give me how this evolution happened. But then for you, at the moment, being a man and being a nurse, nursing originally, or rather before technology and knowledge, before that much advent, it was thought that it is a women's role and that men could not nurse. Now you're here as a nurse, of course, to the extent of being a deputy a chief nurse. How is the experience for you?
Okay, that's a very nice question to answer, basically. Okay, you'll find being a male nurse is a special thing, actually. It is not being like a female, because many people, even when they come to hospital, they know a nurse is a female. But when they find a male nurse, they actually appreciate so much. And in current situation, actually, the best nurses are male. They are not like female. Because most of the people, when they come to hospital, they would like to be being attended to a man, because they feel like it is a new thing, actually, and they need to feel the presence of a male nurse.
And of course, when you say that, you see, Monday you were having a discussion here on a different segment about women being their own enemies. Hope you're not trying to bring in that. Anyway, on a lighter note, and Atiang now, clearly he says it's a new thing on the male side. You've been doing this, of course, not you, but rather the female gender have been doing this for quite some time. Maybe give us nursing. Of course, you've mentioned that there is a mother of nursing, right? Yeah. How did it start, and how was we had that evolution, and how different is the current nursing from when nursing started?
Okay, actually nursing was started by a female nurse, a British nurse by the name Florence Nightingale. Florence was born in the year 1820, and okay, she made nursing renowned during the season where there was a Crimean War, that is between, I think it was Russia and British. Yeah, so during that war, there were some soldiers who were injured, and actually they needed nursing care. And yes, okay, there were hospitals then, but the state in which hospitals were was pathetic. Generally, they were dirty, they didn't have proper lighting, but Florence Nightingale, with her team of other nurses, actually went and made sure that the environment was clean for the injured soldiers, and also ensured that they had proper lighting. Because there is no way you can go maybe administer medication to a patient and there's no proper lighting. So Florence ensured that, okay, these patients received quality nursing care. She cleaned their wounds, dressed them, ensured that they were done, that is a bed bath, actually bathing, and ensured their environment was clean and safe for them. So generally, nursing was started by her. And at some point in the year 1960, she decided to start a nursing school so that she can train more professionals to offer nursing care to sick patients within the facilities. And that is how nursing started, but majorly, females did the nursing. Female did the training, then went into the field. But currently, we are in the system with male nurses, of which brings about comfortability. That is as explained by Gideon. You find maybe there's a male patient, they're not comfortable being done a bed bath by a female nurse. Actually, a male can chip in. So it created a balance. And also for confidentiality purposes and privacy, there are those patients who are not comfortable maybe being handled by a female nurse, and okay, they are more comfortable being handled by a male nurse. So at least, okay, as time went by, it created a balance in the nursing department, as in the males started being recruited one at a time. And okay, currently we have so many male nurses in the system. Yeah.
And of course, my first show on the Healthy Wealthy Wise Wednesday was it a male nurse called Collins Kipchirchir. Yeah, I'm sure he must be watching right now. Actually, was the pioneer of this particular segment of where we talk about health. And I think we had actually missed the presence of nurses in this particular show. Nonetheless, Etiang and Gideon come from Top Hill Hospital. Top Hill Hospital is a level 5 hospital, majorly dealing with the neuro and spine cases. But then, of course, they have all the other clinical departments. And the hospital is situated in Eldoret, Elgon View, just next to Boma Inn Hotel. And I usually love telling you that every way in Eldoret leads to Top Hill Hospital. Whether you're coming from Kisumu, or you're coming from these parts of town, whether you're coming from Nairobi, there is always a way leading you to Top Hill Hospital. I would say it's the most accessible hospital, 24 hours of service. And if you would want a place where you get exceptional care, then, or rather extraordinary care, then you would want to walk into Top Hill Hospital. And of course, last week we had a chance to talk to one of the people who've been served at Top Hill Hospital, and many times they mentioned nurse, and I was like, okay, why don't you have them come here? Of course, not to speak about any condition majorly, but then Gideon, what is the experience working in such a delicate hospital? Of course, we have nurses all over, but then I would want to imagine that you work with very delicate cases like that of I'm forgetting the name. She was called Cherop, who had actually, I think if you watched last week's show, then you'll relate this. If you have not, you can actually check it up later, because Cherop's case was quite a unique one. She had gone to India like 7 times and gone through all that. And I want you to give me the experience of handling such a delicate patient, a patient whose brain has been operated and all that. How is it for you as a professional?
Okay. Being a profession, working in an institution like Top Hill Hospital is quite a chance, actually. Because when you are there, you met with conditions that actually, even I can say the truth, before when I was in school, I have never met such cases. But being in Top Hill Hospital has bring a lot of experience to me, because handling of brain and spine cases is actually not easy. For sure, to be able to handle cases like that, one thing you are supposed to do is very sharp, to be very sharp. Because a brain case, anything can happen anytime. If you are not that nurse who is very keen, you can lose a person very easily. So working in on an institution like Top Hill, where this mostly, majorly they specialize in brain and spine cases, is actually a very good chance to work. And many patients have appreciated, because most of the nurses in Top Hill, they are very keen. Patient can come with a spine injury. For example, when you are working in an emergency department, you need to be very keen about that patient, because any chance or anything that can happen to that patient, he may lose he or her own ability to work, ability to help him or herself. Actually, it is quite a very good chance to work in an hospital like Top Hill Hospital.
And Etiang, almost the same question. You mentioned 24-hour care, meaning that actually the nurse is the person who is always there with the patient, and you go with them through the healing journey. And there's an interesting question that comes in here. What is the standard number of patients a nurse is supposed to take care of to ensure quality standards of care is achieved? And on top of that, have you ever had a situation whereby maybe you felt, of course, that and rather, how do you take care of this? Because maybe at times, as much as labda zile masaa zijeja, mentally you feel you're not even able to maybe address a certain patient. Or does training take care of that?
Okay, what happens, the ideal number of, as in the ratio of patient nurse is supposed to be at most 5 to 1. That is in a general setup. But in an ICU setup, ratio 1:1. That is 1 nurse to 1 patient. Okay, at times you might find yourself maybe, okay, you've got a number of patients to take care of. Let's say maybe I have 5, and I'm supposed to take care of them during the day and hand them over when I've accomplished most of the tasks. The first thing that will be my guiding tool is planning. I'll have to assess these patients, then see who needs my attention, that is maybe urgent attention. Then, apart from that, I'll also look at these patients and, okay, make a quick assessment on maybe, okay, who's more stable. Then, the one who requires my prompt attention, I'll have to fix his cases first. Then after that, I move to other patients progressively. Then apart from that, after you've set up a plan for the day, you work on it as you mark. Maybe this patient has these and these orders. I make sure that I've done all of them. They are supposed to be seen by consultant so and so. I make sure I make a call to the consultant, or I ensure the doctor who's covering has contacted the consultant. Then after he has reviewed, I take the orders. Maybe he said this patient is due for an X-ray. This patient is due for maybe the check of the labs, that is full blood counts, maybe the urea creatinine levels. I take the orders. After taking the orders, I inform the lab. I inform the radiology department that there's an X-ray to be done. Then after that, I organize with the nurse aides who are within the department to ambulate the patient to the specific places he's supposed to be taken for the investigations. Then for the lab, they come collect the samples from the ward. Then after that, they work on the samples, bring us the results. So by the end of the day, I make sure my checklist is done. If at all it is not done, nursing is a handing over process. So at the end of the day, I'll have to hand over whatever I've left undone clearly, so that this person takes over, the incoming nurse takes over from where I've left. And you find at the end of the day, like with that synchrony, the patient accesses the quality care they are supposed to receive within the facility. Yeah.
Okay, and of course that takes me to my next question, and this one would go to Gideon then. Of course, you've actually almost given what a day of a nurse looks like, but then I'll still ask the same question to Gideon. How is a typical day for you when you arrive at, let's say, Topil Hospital?
Okay, sometimes you can arrive in an hospital. For example, like for me, I'm working in an emergency department, outpatient. Sometimes you can find, you arrive in an hospital and you find patients have floated everywhere. And you'll just ask yourself, how can I manage this today? And maybe you are 2 or 3 nurses or 4, and you are asking yourself, how can I survive with all these patients today? Then you just tell yourself, everything is courage. And everything, if you don't put hard work in everything, I know everybody, everywhere, can arrive in his workplace and you find very many clients, and he's asking him or herself that, how can I manage this today? But when you arrive and you become very organized with your work, it will be as a very simple job for you. Actually, I can talk with an experience sometimes back when I was new to a department. I found several patients post road traffic accident, and I just asked myself, how can I manage this? After I have delegated some duties to other people, I found that thing very simple and very easy. Yeah.
And of course, which is the most challenging time that you ever encountered as a nurse, and then specifically also as a male nurse? What are the most challenging situations you go through?
Okay, sometimes you can find yourself in a department and in a shift, maybe you are all male nurses, and you find a patient telling you, I'm not comfortable for a male nurse to attend to me. And from there, you will ask yourself, how can I help this person now? There is no male nurse, there is no female nurse. You are all male, and It was an awkward situation, actually. I had to inform the management to go and look for a female nurse who was on day shift to come and help us to attend such kind of a patient. That was my most awkward since I started working as a nurse.
They told you, no, don't touch me, please keep off. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Morning Glory Show coming live from Dawi Afrique Photography. Dawi Afrique Photography is a photography studio based in Eldoret. Anytime you need anything, and especially if you have an event, make sure you talk to Dawi Afrique Photography. Kuja tu hapa Zanmol, of course, you can also call us. I'll be giving you the contact so that anytime you need photography, videography services, you talk to us. And of course, we're just using this platform to also engage each other and then enlighten each other. Let's have a society where we just talk about things that look obvious but may not be obvious to everyone. And the next question goes to Etiang. Etiang, of course, which is the most challenging moments for you as a nurse?
Okay, the most challenging moment for me is majorly, maybe having interacted with a patient. I've banked my hopes on this patient, let's say like for recovery. I've taken care of them, then all of a sudden maybe they change their situation. When they change the situation, maybe, the patient dies. That really becomes so challenging on me. I remember, under a given occasion, I actually mourned, real mourning, after losing a patient, and I was very unstable during that day because this is a patient we had nursed and, we knew this patient would recover. Then out of nowhere, pop, gone. So, generally the major challenge is like you've banked your hopes on them. And of course, you're doing it as a nurse, but God is above all, and this patient will recover. Then all of a sudden, they are gone.
And how do you handle such situations? Is there a mechanism of taking care of such whatever? So whereas in the media it's called conflict of interest, that you'll not be forgiven for it. So I'm imagining, how do you handle it in the medical world?
So at times, such situations like, let's say I've lost my patient whom I had banked my hopes on for recovery. Then all of a sudden they are no more. We are human. And apart from that, we also undergo therapy sessions. So we are glad to have our counselor Nancy in the facility. I remember there's a time she had to sit us down. At least, you talk to her based on, how you would want her to help you. That is, for example, maybe you're going through a tough situation, like maybe you've had a patient and they are gone, and right now you feel so crushed. You talk to Nancy. Normally, she really helps you recover from it. And it has really helped us as staff of Top Hill Hospital. Because you find like, having her around, even just talking to her, makes you relieved. You feel like the extra burden is gone. Yeah.
Okay. And this goes to Gideon. I'll still come back to you at Young. Because we're really talking about, now, I know most of the time as professionals, nobody would talk about your welfare. It's always, and of course there's this notion of people saying that nurses are rude. I think I would say in a private institution like yours, we may not get much of that, but in a public institution, most of the time, if you asked my relatives back at home who've gone to hospitals before, they'll tell you, nurse alikuwa. What is it that what is it always between you and the other caretakers that come to take care of the patient? Where your friction inatokeanga wapi, Gideon?
Actually, in a situation like that, you will find the reason why people are saying nurses are rude. You will find some of the relatives can just tell you to do what they want. And actually, as a nurse, you know what you're supposed to do. So you will find there will be a nurse-patient friction, a nurse-relative friction, and they will just tell you that nurse was a very rude one. It is not actually like that. They are not rude. Because when you have a patient, you know that patient, what he's supposed to do, you are supposed to do
to the patient.
Yeah, you know what to do to that patient. There is what we call, in nursing, we have something what we call nursing process. Nursing process, you have to assess the patient, you see the needs, and you know how urgent. So you will find some patients want for them, they have arrived now and they want to be attended now. And in the queue, you will find there are some patients who have even stayed for like 3 hours. So you will have to be hard, because when you started becoming just like a weak nurse, you will be overwhelmed. Yeah, that's actually the main reason why many people come to an hospital and they find a nurse has become very rude and odd. Yeah.
So it's not actually rudeness, just being firm.
It is not rudeness.
Of course, I can see Atiang already wanting to speak.
Maybe just to add on that, with the digital era, most of the people do a lot of Googling. Let's say, for example, maybe, Daktari has given these orders and Daktari has recommended you're supposed to maybe give this medication. So you find some relatives or patients Google, then after they Google, maybe they Google even the side effects of these of these drugs. Then after that, you go to the bedside. Normally, you are challenged. For us, we take those as in the challenges positively, because at the end of the day, they are meant to sharpen you. But it doesn't mean that you, as in the patient relatives or the patient themselves, give orders on whatever exactly is supposed to be done on them, apart from whatever the doctor has recommended.
So you find yourself in a situation, let me just get this clear. Yeah. So patient ameingia pale, ama a relative, Google dawa. Then they want to now prescribe it also.
Yes.
So you find yourself in an awkward situation because you're getting directions from the doctor.
Yes. And apart from that, the doctor is always right. The patient is always right also. But at the end of the day, to create a balance, it means, this patient has to trust us with whatever we are offering, so that at the end of the day, we are able to offer quality services to them without having a push and pull. Yeah, because, we are professionals, and at times, being so professional and being so stern on your stance makes relatives and patients at times feel like there's a push and pull between the nurses and them. But at the end of the day, we are here to offer quality care. And, we want to ensure that the patient receives the best of care from us. But, we respect their opinions. We respect the patient's views. We respect whatever they tell us to do.
Of course, their preferences.
Yeah, their preferences. But at the end of the day, we weigh and see what could be good for this patient. So after we've weighed, we know they'll receive the best. But the only challenge is that, at times maybe patients and maybe patient relatives could fail to understand us.
And of course, my next question would be, what is that one thing that you feel is most misunderstood by patients? Or what is that one thing that you really want patients and relatives? Of course, somebody yesterday was telling me anyone can be a patient at any time. So what is that one thing that you really want people to understand about your profession and how you work?
The first thing I would like, the public to understand about nursing is that we are here, as in, we are at this profession to offer quality care to them. So at the end of the day, I'll walk home satisfied when I feel like, I've done my best on my patient and my patient really appreciates. Another thing I would like them to understand is that, regardless of everything, the patient is always right. They have a right to decline medication, yes. They have a right to give their opinions, yes. But at the end of the day, they also have to listen to the doctor's side or the nurse's side. Because at the end of the day, we are the caregivers within the hospital setup. Nurses work in schools. Nurses work in, that is, rehabilitation centers. So wherever you interact with a nurse or a doctor, just have it in mind that, we are here to offer quality care to you. And, we are able to assess and see what is best for you. Yeah.
Okay. Same question to you, Gideon, because of course this is a question based on experience. What is that one thing that you really feel watu wanafaa kuelewa? They need to really understand.
Actually, Atiang has talked on actually in a general situation. most of the people there outside there, they don't understand processes in an hospital. And processes in an hospital, it has a step. For example, a patient has arrived in an hospital and you attend to him or her. You take, for example, vitals, a general thing before a doctor comes and see the patient. So you will find a patient telling you that I've not been seen. They need to understand that everything has a process. It is not just hope, and I think you understand. And sometimes, again, you will find many people don't understand, for example, in terms of administration of medications. Sometimes you will give a patient some drugs. After some time, he's telling you, no, I have not been given medication. Or that medication has not worked. In terms of a drug, there is what we call a half-life. A half-life, it has a period before it starts working. It has a period before it diminishes in the system, body system. And some of the drugs have serious damages. A patient can come and tell you, no, I want this drug. And for yourself, you assess that patient is not fit to be given that drug. The doctor has said, do not give that drug. Because for us, especially nurses, we take instructions from
The doctor.
the doctors. Yeah, that is their work. And our work actually is to ensure that that patient is comfortable. Because sometimes you can find a patient is not actually feeling good, and you will find the patient is telling you, no, I don't want to be seen by that person. And you know actually it is an emergency. You cannot wait for example, a consultant to come and see you. Even as nurses, the doctors who are around, resident doctors, can help you before
The consultant
the
comes.
consultants arrive. That's, I think, what many people outside there, they're missing. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much. Of course, this is the Morning Glory Show, a place where tunanoana. This is where we actually sharpen each other. This is where we really understand. We tend to edify each other about things that look obvious, but then they're not so obvious. And today on set is Etiang. She's a registered nurse, and also we have Gideon with us, who is also a registered nurse, both of them working with the Top Hill Hospital. Top Hill Hospital is a brain and spine specialty based in Eldoret, Elgon View. So anytime, of course, they have all the other clinical departments, so you may also want to visit them. Of course, somebody was also telling me that you shouldn't visit the hospital only when you are sick. You can also visit there for consultation and really understand what usually happens in there. Now, Etiang, now karibu tunamalizana na environment ya hospitali, and a little bit also now coming to the outside world, and over time nursing has become I would say marketable, or rather a course that you find so many people going into it. And right now there's somebody listening to you, maybe they're a student, they are planning to maybe become a nurse, and of course there's also someone who told me to ask you whether maybe you ever wanted to be a doctor, then you said, okay, wacha niangukia hapa kwa nursing, or you grew up knowing that you really wanted to be a nurse. And because somebody was telling me that many people usually start wakitaka kuwa daktari, then labda max tu ndio inakata, then okay, let me be a nurse. Is there a relationship between the two, or this possibility of somebody waking up when they're still young and say, okay, actually when I grow up I want to be a nurse?
Yeah. Okay, maybe for my case I can say I really wanted to become a nurse from the start. Initially it was a revenge mission. You know why? I had an aunt. By then, okay, when you got sick, when I was young, in case you got sick for malaria, for example, I had an aunt who used to come and, okay, I used to see her too, and a rinse syringe, na maji moto, and a flash needle.
Kulikuwa na hiyo time by the way, the needles zilikuwa hazitupwi.
Zinakuwa reused, yeah. So she used to do the rinsing, tukiona tu, anakusetia quinine, anakudunga. So I used to tell her, umenidunga, hata mimi nitakuwa nurse nikudunge. So when I used to say so, I was young by then. Nilikuwa kitu around class 1, class 2. Nitakuwa nurse. As I grew up, the thing just grew with me. As I kept interacting with nurses when I fell sick and was taken to the hospital, I came to realize actually, okay, I need not to revenge to my aunt. Because whatever nurses are doing is actually a good thing. At times I could be taken to the hospital, done nebulization by a nurse when I could not breathe well due to asthma. And I looked at that nurse and I saw actually, this person saved my life. Because I could not breathe so well, and right now I'm breathing so well. So that really inspired me, actually interacting with the nurses. And okay, the time I was interacting with them, I didn't have any bad experience, and that is why I really loved nursing. So by the time I just finished high school, my eyes were on nursing.
So you always knew you wanted to be a nurse?
Yeah, I always knew I wanted to be a nurse. And I always prayed to God that I become the best. That God just makes me a nurse that actually when I just arrive, maybe the patient feels relieved. And that is my prayer till today. Yeah.
That you remain the best.
That I remain the best.
Of course, I'll be coming back to that.
Yeah.
Of course, we'll be coming back there. So shikilia tu hapo. Gideon, of course, same question. Uliaitaka kuwa daktari there at some point. And because the reason why I'm asking this, of course, is because people watching this have children. The people watching this, some of them are students who are aspiring to be something in the near future. Tell them something.
Actually, for me, I didn't have a dream to become a nurse. When I was young, class 1, class 2, class 3.
You wanted to be a pilot?
I wanted to be a driver.
A driver, not a pilot.
Driver, not a pilot. I wanted to be a driver. Until one day, when I was in standard 7, something actually happens. Most of when I was young, I was staying with my grandmother. And my grandmother got sick. And she was taken to hospital. And I said, no, I'm going with her. And by then, actually in an hospital, you will find most children are not allowed to come and see patient. But I forced myself until I go and see my grandmother. And I saw a lady, a female person who was helping my grandmother. Actually, she had an asthma. So she was helping, nebulizing. He was putting something here. I didn't know what was that. So I saw until I tell myself, actually, unfortunately, she passed away. And after that, I asked my dad, who is that person who was trying to
attending to grandma?
Yeah. And he told me that that's a nurse. And from that time, I wanted to help very, very many people to become healthy, to become, nursing, the meaning of a nurse is helping to recover, help to get a good environment, like being at home, something like that. And actually, I told him that one day, I will work hard so that I become a nurse.
So you also knew you wanted to be a nurse?
From that time.
From that time?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And of course, now that, of course, I'll also ask you this as a gentleman. We've talked about nursing and being a gentleman and all that. There's still that in our communities, especially when you go back to Mashambani Kule, you still find people maybe castigating male children who really want to be nurses. What would you tell children, male children who are growing up wanting to be nurses?
Actually, I can assure you that nursing is something, it is not a crime to become a nurse when you are a male. Actually, currently, as I have talked earlier and said that male nurses are one of the best nurses actually around. I have not said that female nurses are not the best. They are the best. But currently, male nurses are among the best. I can just tell a person who wants to be a nurse, a male, a child, that this is the best course actually for you. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much for that. This is the best course for you. And at Young, you didn't give us that part of women preferring to be attended. Some women, of course, there is a lady. The other day, it was the International Women's Day. And I happened to be among the few women, the few men who attended the women's conference, quote unquote, because there was, I would say, the women came together somewhere to speak about women issues. And when they were speaking, one of the panelists was a nurse, a very senior nurse. And she was saying that hata mimi wakati nilikuwa childbearing age, I would prefer that it becomes a man handling me. What is it? And I don't know how you experience this, of course. What is it with you and also wanting to be attended by men? The same thing also extends, of course, to also other parts of the of maisha kama salon. Nimeanza kuona siku hizi pia mnapenda salon za wanaume and all that. What is it?
Okay. Naturally, you find at times, okay, there's this notion that like poles repel and like poles attract. Apart from that, okay, you look at maybe a man offering services that are known to be offered by women. There's a saying that goes, what a man can do, a woman can do better. And okay, the vice versa. What a woman can do, a man can do it better. So that saying carries a lot. And okay, you look at maybe being attended to by an opposite gender really brings, okay, there's that feeling like, okay, actually they know exactly what has to be done. Yes, a female knows what exactly has to be done, but the sense of touch, the sense of, as in how they handle. Okay, a man
are you saying maybe a man would be more careful handling a woman?
More gentle compared to a woman. A woman would also be more gentle while handling males compared to how a fellow male would handle you. Yeah.
And of course, because now I'm really spilling the beans of that particular meeting, at the end of it all, women couldn't resolve that part of, okay, women being enemies of their own and all that. Somebody else was saying, no, we are not enemies, it's just that we prefer.
Yeah. Everybody has their own preferences. But at the end of the day, like, okay, you find like maybe there's someone who would feel comfortable being attended to by a male. For example, okay, maybe during delivery, there's a female patient who would come and tell you, I'd prefer to be delivered by a male nurse or maybe a male doctor. Okay, that is their preference. And maybe based on their previous experience with the female, with the female nurse maybe handling them, they would like to have a change. And that is why maybe they would prefer being handled by a different gender. The same applies to maybe, okay, males who would prefer being handled by women. Yeah.
Okay. And that's quite a discussion that we may
but
not...
It is a puzzle that cannot be solved so easily.
Of course, yeah. It's not something that I want us to solve with this particular show. I can see Gideon smiling suggestingly. And of course, we're already coming to towards the tail part of this particular conversation. And another thing that I would really want to know is, of course, now going back to Top Hill Hospital, and of course, somebody would ask, the reason why I called you here, it is based on a testimonial that really mentioned you quite. Alikuwa anakaa hivi dakika mbili asha mention. I was like, okay, let's bring these nurses here. What makes you different? Why would I walk into Top Hill and not go to any other place, of course?
Okay, Top Hill Hospital is a brain and spine center. And okay, majorly we handle delicate clients. Apart from being a brain and spine facility, we of course offer other services. Yeah. So you find like we handle very delicate cases, like for example, a patient who's been done a surgery, a brain surgery, a spine surgery. These are patients who need, most of them need total nursing care. Total nursing care meaning they are helped to feed, they are helped to maybe do the turning because they cannot turn on their own. You are able to maybe calm their pain. You are able to allay their anxiety. You are able to take care of their bowels. Like that is like, okay, maybe okay, bowels and bladder
I think
care.
we
yeah.
all understand that.
Bowel and bladder care, yeah. Then you're supposed maybe to keep their records and health records and any other investigations that need to be done on them. So you find like at Top Hill Hospital, let's say this patient is post-operative. We monitor the vital signs, of course, which is being done worldwide. Then apart from that, we do on a daily basis, we do a morning, that is a bed bath. Especially when the patient is at the recovery, it means like they are not able to do anything on their own. So you have to ensure that you help them, that is, take care of their hygiene. So we do a bed bath. Then after that, in case they soil their diapers, we do the change of diapers. We ensure that we empty the urine bags when they are full. We monitor the input and output, that is whatever they consume versus whatever they excrete. Then apart from that also, we ensure that we take care of the patient's relatives. That is by informing them the progress of the patients and ensuring that at the end of the day, their anxiety is allayed. So you find like, okay, there's that touch of extraordinary care. You look at the chronology of those events, at the end of the day brings that sense of extraordinary care. Then the moment this patient has been moved from the recovery, maybe ICU, to the wards, we continue the same management. On a daily basis, you ensure that they are done a bed bath until when they are stable to do it on their own. Yeah, that is when you maybe just help them, giving instructions and monitoring when they do their personal hygiene. Yeah, for those who are not comfortable, maybe being helped by the nurse, maybe, okay, a couple, and maybe a male patient has been admitted, then he's with his wife. Some of them request, wanakwambia, just offer me whatever I need to use when doing my personal hygiene, then okay, my wife will do it. We cannot reject. We ensure that we provide them everything they require. Then after that, in case there's anything else that maybe, okay, they might need, they come request for them, we give. So you find at the end of the day, like, we are at the end of the day, we are able to listen to patients' preferences, and okay, at the end of the day, they are satisfied with our services based on how we do it. But you look at the whole chronology of events, it gives you the touch of extraordinary care. You can go to a facility, let's say a public facility, then okay, find yourself, maybe, okay, your patient is very sick, you are a relative, you do not know how to manage the airway when you're doing a bed bath. Maybe the patient has a condition that might okay, maybe positioning might cause this patient maybe to succumb. Imagine you're in that state, and okay, in maybe a public facility, you're told, ogesha mgonjwa wako. But for us, like, we are able to manage the patient until when we feel they are fit to do it on their own. Yeah.
And of course, one of the biggest challenges that we still face as a country is the ratio of medical personnel to the number of patients, which still remains an issue. So if you have the ability to pay your NHIF, make sure it is really updated, because nowadays I would say Top Hill Hospital takes most of the insurances, so you may really also want to really have your NHIF up to date. It is actually the primary one. If you are able to get a secondary insurance, well and good. But then, as Etiang puts it, then that is where you get extraordinary care. And of course, the full mantra is exceptional technology, extraordinary care. Now, Gideon, give us your parting shot, brother.
For me, working in a Top Hill Hospital is actually a chance. And working in an institution like Top Hill is actually a chance, actually. What a parting shot of Top Hill Hospital are trying to put outside there is extraordinary care. And what do we mean when we say extraordinary care? extraordinary care, you get everything what you want as a patient. Because for us, we say the patient is right. Everything is about the patient, because everybody who is working in that institution is about that patient. Yeah. We help those patients to recover well, to do everything. And actually, it's an extraordinary care. So anybody who feel that is not feeling well, Top Hill Hospital is your home. You will find very good nurses, very welcoming nurses, and I know you are going to go back home smiling and pitching something good about Top Hill Hospital.
Okay, thank you so much for that, Gideon, and thank you so much for making time to be with us at Young. Now, give us your final words.
Okay, for me, I would like to thank you for hosting us today, at least, okay, to discuss about nursing generally. And I would like to thank Top Hill Hospital for giving us an opportunity to work there. Actually, okay, at the end of the day, we are able to put bread on our tables, despite the fact that, okay, our main goal is offering exceptional technology and extraordinary care. So I would like to say thank you to our employers, and thank you to everyone who's listened to us today. It's really an inspiring moment for us, and we hope that at the end of the day, okay, we will be able to offer the best of the best. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. And Tiang Frank says, well done, little sister Maria. This is a story of wanting to become a nurse was indeed with you since you were a little kid. That's the difference between a mere career and passion. You have the passion, be the best nurse in the world. The world can have. Forever proud of you. Allow me to check that again. Well done, little sister. This is the story. This story of wanting to become a nurse was indeed with you since you were a little kid. That's the difference between a mere career and passion. You have the passion. Be the best nurse the world can have. Forever proud of you. Thank you so much for that. It's quite nasema ni, what can I say? It's quite encouraging and quite uplifting to get such a message from a brother. And of course, Rono Kiprono says, my good friend Gidi, thank you so much for that. And thank you so much for everyone who made time to watch this particular show. I can see Van Ran says, good topic. Thank you so much. Of course, we'd want to bring you people and topics that you'll not get them elsewhere. That's why we say we are the most comprehensive talk show in Kenya today, because Gear Up is great service to humanity. I know the sacrifices nurses make. God bless you. Thank you so much. Saying he's watching from South Nyanza. Thank you so much for tuning into the Morning Glory Show. Of course, with that, I don't have any much to say. Mine is to thank everyone who made time, and on behalf of everyone who made effort to make this broadcast a success. My name is MC Kalia, and we continue to thank you.
Karibu Top Hill Hospital, a brain and spine specialty hospital dedicated to providing extraordinary care through